This video is narrated. If you prefer the video with subtitles only, please click on the link in the description box below. November 6, 1986. Over Florida. November 2185 Papa is flying from Fort Myers to Tampa. In command is Captain William S. Bain, age 56. He is an Eastern Airlines pilot and is on his way to Tampa International Airport to take command of an Eastern Airlines flight to Newark. He is the only person on board. The plane is a Piper PA-23 Apache. At 6:14 a.m., Captain Bain contacts the Miami Airwood Traffic Control Center for an IFR clearance to Tampa International Airport. The clearance is approved 7 minutes later. The captain tunes into the Automatic Terminal Information Service, or ATIS. The ATIS reports that the ceiling is indefinite zero, sky obscured, visibility 1/16th of a mile in fog, and that the wind is at 080 degrees at 3 knots. At 6:33 a.m., approach control informs the pilot to expect an ILS approach to runway 36 left. Captain Bain contacts the Tampa Tower. The aircraft is 7.7 miles from runway 36 left. The local controller clears the captain to continue his approach. At 6:41 a.m., the local controller reports that the RVR is 600 feet at touchdown, 800 feet at the runway midpoint, and 800 feet at the rollout end. Captain Bain acknowledges the information. The captain decides to abandon his approach. He informs the controller that he is executing a missed approach. The departure controller asks for the pilot's intentions. Captain Bain responds, "I'd like to go back and try it again." November 2185 Papa is now on the downwind leg. The approach controller reports that the RVR is 800 feet, the midpoint is at 3,000 feet, and the rollout is at 800 feet. Captain Bain responds, "That 3,000 feet sounds better, I hope." The approach controller replies, "Yes, it does." At 6:58 a.m., the approach controller clears Captain Bain for the second ILS approach. The controller reports that the touchdown RVR is 600 feet, midpoint 1,000 feet, and rollout 800 feet. 5 minutes later, November 2185 Papa is 2.2 miles from the runway. The tower controller reports that the touchdown RVR is 600 feet, midpoint 800 feet, and rollout 800 feet. Captain Bain acknowledges the information. At Tampa International Airport, Pan Am Flight 301 is taxiing to runway 36 left via taxiway Whiskey. In command is Captain Edwin C. Lunford, age 47. He has 15,539 hours of flying time. The co-pilot is First Officer Robert D. Thornton, age 46. He has 9,101 hours of flying time. The flight engineer is Second Officer Herman C. Bridwell, age 42. He has 3,683 hours of flying time. There are 17 passengers and 6 crew members. The plane is an 18-year-old Boeing 727-200. Captain Lunsford sees the Apache on a collision course with them. He turns the Boeing 727 to the right. Captain Bain attempts to go around. November 2185 Papa collides with Pan Am Flight 301 while attempting to land at Tampa International Airport. The Apache's left engine struck the Boeing's lower nose area and embedded just below the Randall. Fuel from the Apache's ruptured tanks ignited as it passed under the Boeing 727's wing. The Apache came to a rest on the taxiway 100 meters behind the Boeing 727. Captain Bain is killed. The captain called Fort Myers Flight Service Station the night before the accident. He was given a weather forecast briefing which forecast fog at Tampa International Airport and visibility from 1/2 to 3 miles. Had the captain called again the next morning, he would have known that the forecast had been revised and called for visibilities as low as 1/8 of a mile. He would have also known that the current Tampa weather was below minimums. After departing Pine Shadows Airport, Captain Bain received the current Tampa weather, which was reported to be a ceiling of 0 feet and a visibility of 1/16 of a mile. The captain was aware of potential reduced visibility due to fog before he retired on the night before the accident. Captain Bain elected to continue to Tampa even though the reported RVR of 1,000 to 1,600 was below the 1,800 feet required for landing. When he arrived in the Tampa area, he received 6 RVR reports, none of which indicated a touchdown RVR greater than 800 feet. The report of a midfield RVR of 3,000 feet given to him after the first missed approach was probably the result of air movement created by a departing DC-9. This was because the midfield RVR had deteriorated to 1,000 feet within 5 minutes. 2 pilots who conducted the approaches to Tampa just before the first approach by the captain were unable to see any of the required visual references and executed missed approaches. By the time the captain made his first missed approach, the touchdown RVR had dropped to 600 feet. It is highly unlikely that the captain was able to see any of the required visual references during the approach or on the subsequent approach. In response to the accident, the NTSB recommended that the FAA required that no pilot may continue an approach past the final approach fix unless the RVR is equal or more than the minimum visibility prescribed for the approach procedure.